Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
This episode of Steve Austin Show is brought to you free today by our friends at BetOnline.ag. We're right in the middle of summer, and the sports action continues to be blazing hot with Major League Baseball, the UFC, Major League Soccer, and now the British Open all happening. Get in the mix at BetOnline.ag and use the promo code PodcastOne for your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today, sitting here at 316 Gimmick Street, ready to answer the questions that you sent in. A Q&A session is about to ensue. Hey, man, I want to give a shout-out to everybody who didn't catch it on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view on the WWE Network the other day or missed Monday Night Raw. Stone Cold Steve Austin, yours truly, will be making an appearance on Monday Night Raw next week, July 22nd in Tampa, Florida. If you can be there, buy a ticket because I would love to see your ass. If you cannot be there, tune your television to the USA Network or your streaming device or however you watch that show and tune in. I said Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be there, and a whole bunch of other WWE superstars are going to be there as well. So it should be a blockbuster event of epic proportions, and I'm looking forward to going down there and seeing everybody. So tune in to Monday Night Raw on July 22nd. Oh, hell yeah. One other thing about the USA Network, my new show, Straight Up Steve Austin, the season premiere will be August 12th, 2019, right after Monday Night Raw. So it's a half-hour show. I'm hanging out with different celebrity guests, doing activities, having conversations, shooting a breeze, and having a blast. So please check out my show, set your DVR in advance, and help a brother out. Hopefully we'll get a season 2 out of this and get another season after that and continue to move forward. So check it out. We just returned from Nevada. We're answering questions on the show today. Without any further ado, let's jump into the questions that you sent in. Here we go. We have reached the midway point in the MLB season, and the excitement is heating up. And this upcoming weekend is one of golf's greatest tournaments, the British Open. Speaking of Major League Baseball, the Yankees, Twins, and Astros are all leading the pack in the American League, while over in the National League, the Dodgers, Cubs, and Braves are the dominant teams you need to know about. There is only one place that has you covered, and one place we trust, BetOnline.ag. Sign up today for a free account at BetOnline.ag and use the promo code PodcastOne, or text BETNOW to 238669 to receive a 50% welcome bonus. That's BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and exclusive partners of PodcastOne Sportsnet.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. I'm sitting here in my office with my illustrious wife, Kristin, and my two dogs, Callie and Moolah, about to answer some questions that you guys sent in. So thank you for sending in all the questions. And here's an FYI. Every now and then in life, you have one of those days where it just ain't your day. I have been trying all damn day to get this podcast done, and it is not my day. Kristin, what in the F is wrong with me?
I think you're just having a bad day because you were on the road all day yesterday driving.
Man, it's not only that. I mean, like yesterday, we were living these stories that I'm trying to tell, and if I'd have had a damn microphone in my hand, I could have just told them with vivid detail and graphic description.
Because we always have driving stories.
Oh, we always do, because it's always a clustermuck either coming or going from Nevada. And as you're living that stuff, and I'm like, my mind's going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and
as was the car,
and I want to take notes. It's like, man, if I could, you know what? From now on, we got to get one of those GoPro cameras. And I know you hate them because I bought 15 of them, and I don't know how to work them. But if you could video the driving experiences that we go through coming and going from Nevada,
that's a good
it would
idea.
Be gold.
It would be gold.
And you don't like to be on TV.
No.
So we could blur your image out and to protect your privacy and your celebrity.
Yeah, you're
My
right.
wife is the queen of kayfabe. She don't like taking pictures. A lot of times we'll go places and people say, oh, get in there. We want you in a picture. And my wife will politely say, nope, I don't take pictures. She takes pictures with me, personal pictures that we do with ourselves, with our dogs, but she just don't like her image out there. So we got to do something. We got to get you
well, just like you did with the Instagram post, you put the little smiley face on the...
Oh, man, we got into L.A. yesterday. We just came into town, drove 450 miles. We rolled right back in L.A. Just got finished driving through hair-raising traffic in the Mojave Desert. Get into L.A., and there's a dude on a bicycle with a canary in a cage. Little big yellow canary. And I don't even know if the dude wasn't wearing a helmet that was driving a bicycle.
He was not very stable on the bike.
It wasn't very stable, and he didn't have the cage tied to the handlebars. It was balancing there, and he kind of had a finger in the cage in each hand. And it's like the little bird inside the cage didn't have a helmet on.
Help.
So what if it had a crash? And a canary that was not wearing a helmet.
He would have flew off.
No, he would have hit his little head on the sidewalk and it would have caused him a concussion or something. That little guy should have been wearing a helmet. I contest that guy, if he's going to transport that canary in that fashion, must get that bird a helmet.
Oh, we're going to call PETA?
No, I thought about it. I had my telephone in my hand, but then I realized that you can't talk on a telephone while you're driving in California traffic. So I put the phone down, but I was going to call PETA for a second. I had this whole rant of a bird brain, protecting the bird brain, because there's so many bird brain individuals here. There was actually somewhere I was going to go with that, but I froze up. It goes back with having all these details while you're driving and trying to recant them. It just doesn't work so well.
It's hard to get people to understand the stories.
God dang it, man. We was cruising along yesterday. We just pulled out, crossed into the California state line, made a little stop to get some breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos, whatever you want to call them. And I'm in the right-hand lane driving south to California, to Los Angeles. And all of a sudden, over the hill, here comes a car, wrong way driver, down the left lane. We could have been killed. We could have been in a head-on collision, and we wasn't, because the big guy or somebody upstairs was looking out for our ass.
Wasn't our time.
Wasn't our time. Man, we stopped at this place, and that place had the biggest damn breakfast burritos I've ever seen. Were they breakfast burritos or breakfast tacos?
In California, they're called breakfast burritos. In Texas, they're breakfast tacos.
Anyway, the sumbitches weighed about 3 or 4 pounds
It was like the
each.
size of a submarine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the damn bill was $35.
And then you want to eat the whole thing because you're in the process of eating.
Yeah, because normally you can eat one of them. These are so damn big, you can make one breakfast, the middle lunch, and the other half dinner. You got a 3-course breakfast burrito.
And you got 2 of them.
Anyway, man, we come through there. We almost had a head-on collision. We get through. We see the dude on the bicycle with the bird in the cage.
But then in the desert, in the Mojave Desert, we see an elderly couple driving a souped-up Mustang convertible with 2 gigantic sun hats on.
Man, we're looking, it's 105 degrees outside. We kind of look at each other, and my wife says, what's the point? If it's 105 and you got these big-ass sun-protecting hats on and you get the roof off the damn car,
just put the roof on.
Just put the roof on, take the hats off, and put on the air conditioner.
Yeah.
As a dude who's had a couple of bouts with some skin cancer removal on my face, I'm very leery of the sun's damaging rays. People see me on Instagram all the time. I wear these gaiters on my face. I've got these long sleeve UVA, UVB 50 block shirts. I got sunscreen shit all over my ears and my nose. When you get some issues, you start taking that damn sun serious. At first, it's all fun and games. You're out there laughing and drinking beer and
baby
getting a
oil,
sunburn, baby oil, cocoa butter, all this other stuff to make you bronze. Shit, the whole time that sun's beating your ass, and sooner or later it'll catch up with you. So if you listen to my voice, you know I'm full of shit, but every now and then I drop some 411 on you. Put some sunblock on your ass starting today, and you won't be dealing with some of the issues that myself and many others deal with. The one dude was mowing his yard over in Nevada. People in Nevada, tough. They don't give a damn about the sun. They're like me when I was a kid. I just thought there was this big yellow blob up there in the sky, and it provided light and heat. Dude was out riding a riding lawnmower, mowing his yard with his shirt off, and he hadn't been in the gym, and the crack of his ass was about 8 inches long. That's how far down his shorts was.
And we weren't even that close.
And we weren't even that close. And I'm not trying to look at the crack of his ass, but that's how readily apparent it was. And I'm sure he didn't have no sunscreen on that
He was glowing.
He will be chapped or sunburnt. He's probably sunburnt as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't a pleasant sight.
No.
Had I been eating my breakfast burrito at that time, I would have lost my appetite. The moral to the story, so I can bottom line this and get off this subject, is, people, if you live an active outdoor lifestyle, use your sunblock and use some protectant against the goddamn sun. Dude, one last story. The dude at Trader Joe's. My wife is in Trader Joe's buying a bunch of boxes of water, because you know how we like our water from Trader Joe's. I'm out there sitting in that little bitty ass parking lot. Dude out there with all the sun stuff that I just got finished talking about. Dude's out there leaning on the hood of his car while his wife is in Trader Joe's shopping, smoking a cigarette with a dry fit sleeveless shirt on. And then the dude was crispy. I mean, he spent plenty of years in the sun.
Between the sun and the cigarettes.
Dude, it's 2019, man. I used smokeless tobacco for 25 years and finally smartened up and kicked that stuff to the curb. Dude, cigarettes ain't cool. I ain't telling nobody how to live your lifestyle, but that's a bad habit to have. And out there without no sunblock, man, you're looking at the double whammy. You better hope that big guy's watching out for you.
You better hope he has medical insurance.
God dang it, man. We come through Palmdale, Lancaster, on through Santa Clarita, out there where we filmed Broken Skull Ranch. There's a stretch of highway out there that's so damn treacherous. People drive so damn fast, it is unbelievable. I just got finished filming my show, Straight Up Steve Austin, for the USA Network, which season premieres on August 12th, and I hung out with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for a full day. I picked up so many driving tips from him, man. I was drafting people. I was making these lane changes. I damn near was running a team there for a while. But you got to watch your ass out there. You can lollygag and take your time as long as you want when you're out there in the desert. But all of a sudden, you get on about 75 miles out into Los Angeles, it is hauling ass. And I don't know why it is. Them people drive faster than the NASCAR drivers do.
They really do.
And normally, like I said last time, those Honda Civics are just whizzing by me. And I think I'm driving pretty fast.
And they're not even new Honda Civics.
No, but you're just hauling ass. This time I just said, hey, man, pardon the F-bomb here. Fuck it. I said, I'm going for it. So there we were in our Yukon Denali XL, 400 horsepower. I was drafting people, man. I was putting the pedal to the metal on this sumbitch. I was out to prove a point, Kristin. I've been conceding and giving enough. This past trip, I made a stand. When you see the silver bullet coming, get your ass out of the way.
Yeah, but Mool and I were like being thrown and tossed around like a salad in the back seat.
Man, that's the thing. Got that dog bed back here. You know, the Yukon XL is just like a Suburban, except it's a GMC model. So we've got all the whole back folded flat. Kristin is in the only bucket seat back there.
Little tiny seat.
And Callie's riding shotgun with me. She's snoring her fool head off. She don't know what's going on. But Kristin has to hold that dog bed, because when I ease on the brakes or jump on the brakes and then accelerate, that damn dog bed will go zzz, zzz. It'll slide up and down depending on the traffic.
But the LA freeways are not in the best condition. And so if you hit the slightest bump, you will go through the roof.
Oh, man. And
that's what I experienced.
But also, we had so much shit packed in there, that bed couldn't move too much. So that was one of the saving reasons. Yeah. But God dang, I'm sitting there looking at my damn notes. That one motorcycle, they split lanes. It's legal to split lanes here in California. Dude passed by us splitting a lane, dressed just like Evel Knievel.
But making sure we knew that he had the right of way.
Man, that dude, and my wife goes by, and I'm thinking, man, look, just like Evel Knievel. And my wife said, he's wearing Gucci. Where the hell did you see he was wearing Gucci?
It was big letters on the back of his jacket.
Man, he was the fastest supermodel in the history of the business. I guess he was headed for the Snake River Canyon.
Yeah.
Hey, we had some problems at the Broken Skull Ranch. God dang, we got a horse out there named Sonny. Old Sonny got sprayed by a big-ass skunk. What happened?
Well, I took his fly mask off, and I noticed, well, first of all, you could smell him. Second of all, I took his fly mask off. It's what they wear to keep the flies out of their eyes, and he had a big gash on his head. Well, apparently the skunk sprayed him, and he was trying to get the smell off of him and must have rubbed his head on a fence line and made a big gash in his eye. So I tried to wash everything off.
So we got a horse out there that smells like a skunk.
I tried to wash him off, but I wasn't, because he's not technically my horse. He's just a horse. It's a friend's horse.
Out there.
Yeah. And he's a wild Mustang, and so I was not going to turn the hose on a wild Mustang. But he was tame enough he's a tame horse, but I was not about to.
That was the thing way back in the day. We had the Broken Skull Ranch, and Hershey got sprayed by that skunk, man. We was out there. We had ketchup. We had Bloody Mary mix, Worcestershire sauce, tomato sauce. I mean, we had everything in our damn cabinet out there washing Hershey off, so we ain't going to go out there.
Well, I wasn't going to do that to him.
And wash the Mustang. I mean, it is a 1,500-pound horse, so something's pretty salty, too.
Yeah.
And he's a good horse.
He is.
But yeah, the little bastard smelled like a big-ass brown skunk now.
And I wasn't going to go buy 15 gallons of tomato juice.
He'll wear it off. The good news, though, on the way down there, when we were trying to escape all the hassles of Los Angeles due to the 4th of July and giving our dogs some sanctuary, I was hungry when we got there. And sure enough, I decided I might as well microwave something. So I grabbed something, throw it together, and opened the microwave, and I already had something waiting for me. The flank steak that I had left from the last time we was there.
3 weeks ago.
Boy.
It was like beef jerky.
I was going to take that out and rub it on Sonny because that would have taken the skunk smell right off his ass.
Yeah.
Our house smelled like rotten food.
Yeah.
And so this is the second time that I did that.
You have a habit of leaving stuff.
I did. And then we had to call my buddy to go over to the house because I left another flank steak in just past time on the way
did.
out. There's something about me leaving shit in a microwave oven.
You don't need to store stuff in the microwave. Put it in the refrigerator.
I don't know what it is.
Or the oven. You put stuff in the oven and it dries it out.
Whatever I do, I need to get it and just wrap it up in full. Or
put a Post-it note on the microwave.
Put a Post-it note on my forehead. Wake up next morning while I'm brushing my teeth. Hey, there's a flank steak in the microwave.
Dipshit.
Yeah, dipshit. Thank you. Here's some notes I had. Steve snorted a rail of crank to get to Palmdale. That's just a note, and I'm jesting. I'm joking with you, but I told my wife Kristin. I said, because I'm talking just like this in the car. I said, God dang! I said, I need some kind of edge. I need to snort 2 rails of crank to be on the same level with these people. That's how fast they're driving out there.
And you have to keep your windows rolled down too.
Oh man, the dude. We were sitting at a traffic light. We just got into Marina Del Rey, and there's a vitamin store on the left-hand side of the road, and so there's a guy. And, traffic's pretty severe. It's on a Sunday afternoon. So the dude who's behind us just gets in the other 2 lanes that are going the opposite direction, similar to the story I told you earlier, and just gets in that left-hand lane and hauls ass the wrong way to make a left-hand turn into the vitamin store. Now, here's the thing. I can appreciate the fact this guy is in a rush to get his vitamins to live a healthier lifestyle. But, dude, if you ain't more careful driving that automobile the wrong way in traffic, them vitamins ain't going to do you no good because you're going to be smashed up to smithereens because you're an idiot. You can't do that, Kristin.
No, you can't.
Dude got lucky.
He got very lucky.
Just as lucky as we got when we was crossing over with our breakfast burritos. People do the stupidest shit when they're behind the wheel of a car.
They really do. They really do.
I've been talking about this for years on the podcast. Why should I stop now? People on the cell phones. In California, it's universally accepted and known that it is illegal to talk on the phone. But every time my wife and I are going back and forth down there, we can see what people are doing by what they're doing in their cars. I guarantee you some bitches on the phone.
Well, because you could see their eyes in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and it passed by, but it's the ones. It's not the people just texting. It's the people that are still holding that phone to the side of their head.
And most cars that you see these people doing it are brand new vehicles that have Bluetooth already in them. They don't even need to go buy a headset.
I don't get it. But what I do get is the questions you guys sent in to me. Oh, I got this one written down here. When I was driving through Palmdale, Lancaster, and Mojave and all those towns, you got to start driving really fast with the 3 numbers on the side of my car. I told my wife, Rick Rude would have been proud of me because I never once used the Lord's name in vain. I never once said the GD word, Kristin. I was proud of myself.
You said a lot of words.
But I didn't say that one. And Rick Rude would have been proud of me. Rick, that one's for you.
Alexa isn't the only one with breaking news. Make sure to hang around at the end of this podcast for the latest breaking headlines on the AP News Minute.
Here at Podcast One, the Steve Austin Show, we would like to say thank you for listening to our show and would like to ask a small favor of you. It will only take a few minutes, and if you're one of the first people to do it, we'll give you something in return. We need you to complete a short survey because the information you give us can help us make things better every day. Just go to podcastone.study and everything will be right there for you. Again, that's podcastone.study. The first 125 people who complete the survey will receive a $10 gift card to restaurants.com. Then, one person will be selected at random to receive a $100 Amazon gift card. All of our shows, including the Steve Austin Show, are supported by advertisers, so filling this out will really help us out. Once more, please go to podcastone.study, and thank you for listening.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Let's get into some questions. Here's a couple from Sean Frost. He says, hey, Steve, what do you plan to do with the Mustang in terms of fixing it up, if anything? If you don't know, if you hadn't listened to the podcast, I bought a 1966 Mustang Coupe.
For your illustrious wife.
For my wife. And she used to have a blue one way back in the day.
I had a fastback.
She had a fastback. And it was, what color blue is that?
Midnight blue.
But we're going to paint this one Fire Mist Blue, which is another Ford color, which I think is a little prettier. So we're compromising. We're painting it blue, but I get a chance to pick the blue. So we're going to paint it Fire Mist Blue. That's the only thing we're going to do to that car. It has a black interior, 289. It's almost a stock
air
car.
Conditioning.
It's got the vintage air conditioning.
Yeah.
That was added. So we're not going to do anything to the car. I'm not going to dump a whole bunch of money into it.
I'm going to drive it.
I do want a quality paint job on it. So when my wife wants to go run her errands or take a Sunday drive,
I'll look cool.
The thing about you got to look cool because you're single and ready to mingle. The thing about those cars is, man, they're cool. And they're fun, but they're not modern technology. That's a 66 model.
They had the tiny little, I forgot how small the side mirrors are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I could barely back up because I could barely see anything out of the little tiny mirrors.
Oh, no, man, just the same thing on my 66 pickup, my C10.
Yeah.
I went over, hung out with the dude who's got a shop, and this is the first time since I got that pickup truck legal, I was able to drive around in some traffic and everything. And, man, I took that truck to the garbage disposal place to dump, and the line to check out was like 15 minutes long, and I was sitting there forever.
And we only had 2 bags of trash. And the reason is because we filled up, our refrigerator went out, the chicken went bad, you put the chicken in the bag, and you forgot to take it to the dump. So it's sitting there rotting, making a worse smell than the flank steak in the microwave.
I went to the dump the day before. I had to redo the dump because I was clearing out all the old chicken from when our refrigerator crapped out. So there I am sitting in line. And
with a lot of
old motors like that, man, they just ain't designed to just sit in traffic. Usually when you're driving down the road, you got a fan. You got a radiator and a fan, but you're also relying a lot on that air coming in through the front grill to keep your motor cool. When you're just sitting there idling, things tend to overheat. By the time I got to my buddy's shop over there, man, that summit was scalding hot. So anyway, yeah, but those little bitty ass mirrors, they're cool cars to have, but as far as being a daily driver,
no,
not so much. They're just not that
functional,
logical, comfortable. Yeah, and I dig some great AC. Here's a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being nervous as hell, how nervous were you when you asked Kristin to marry you? Man, I've talked about the setup to this, but as far as on a scale of being nervous, I wasn't nervous at all because I figured she was going to say yes because we'd already talked about it extensively, and I knew it was something that needed to get done. I didn't want to lose her. So I knew she would say yes. So I went in very confident that she would say yes. And I wasn't nervous because I loved her, still do. So that's the answer to that question.
That's good news.
Well, yeah. I mean, after 15 years. Well, anyway, Steve, if I ever get a dog, I had thought about a French bulldog. Do you know anything about these? Right off the top of my head,
I think they have breathing issues.
Little breathing issues, and I think some tear duct problems, or can be prone to. They're really cool-looking dogs. They seem to be, the few that I've met seem really, really cool, and they are a good-looking dog.
And I'm not so sure they can swim.
I don't know about that either. But I don't know anything other than that about the French Bulldog, and I wasn't going to pull out my Wikipedia when you can do the same. Steve, any chance of a reality show at the BSR 2.0? You know what?
We have a reality show constantly going on, it seems like.
Boy, I tell you
we
what.
just don't film it.
I mean, well, you know what? The thing about it is, Kristin don't like to be on camera, and I'm kind of a hermit, so it'd be like a one-man show.
Well, and that's your downtime.
Yeah, it's my downtime, man. I like to be out there and pill into my shop. And the other day I was thinking, I was riding my Kawasaki Teryx, and when I got that thing, I got the brightest, greenest one they had. It's Kawasaki green. And when I'm in that, that's my think tank.
Oh.
I was out there riding in the pine nuts the other day, and I came up with some of the best ideas that I thought about in forever. And I was like, oh man, I gotta stop and write these down immediately. And then I didn't. I kept going.
Do you remember any of the ideas?
No.
Oh.
That's my point.
Oh, great.
I was coming back and I was on the home stretch and I was like, dude, what was those 3 good ideas you thought about that you should have wrote down? And I couldn't remember them. But you know what? And I'm not trying to segue off here, but man, I get in that thing. I'm either thinking about nothing and enjoying my ride, or I'm thinking about navigating the technical terrain, or if I'm hauling ass, I'm looking for that turn and I'm trying to keep it straight from going sideways, or I'm totally thinking about everything and I come up with these great ideas.
That you forget.
Yeah. I need to have one of those little things. I got one on my phone.
It's called your iPhone.
I know.
There's
I
a
just
microphone.
need to hit that button and say, blah, blah, blah. This is money. Execute this idea. But I never do. But I'm having a good time. Half time I remember everything. Half time I don't remember shit. So I guess I'm breaking even.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the French Bulldog. Still don't know shit. Here's not so much a question as a statement. Thank you so much. Straight up Steve Austin. We'll be here August 12th. All right, that's a question. Thank you, Sean. Hey, Steve, we recently watched Bret Hart make an appearance on AEW's All or Nothing pay-per-view and bringing the world title out for the first time. If AEW called and asked you to do something for business that made sense, would you consider going down that road? Thanks, Ty. No, Ty, man, I'm still with WWE. As a matter of fact, I will be in Tampa, Florida next Monday night, July 22nd on Monday Night Raw. So people forget, man, I've been gone a long time, but I'm still with the WWE. And I'm enjoying what AEW is doing, no doubt about it. But I am WWE. For many years, former pro wrestlers and writers have spoke about Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels being the 2 greatest in-ring performers of all time. Recently, it seems now Bret Hart's name is also mentioned in the same conversation as Flair and Michaels. Considering the ultimate objective of professional wrestling is to entertain the audience by suspending disbelief and making storylines and matches seem real, how could anyone not pick Bret Hart as one of, if not the greatest, bell-to-bell performers of all time? Nobody told a better story, did a better job of selling, or was as believable as the hitman, Kelly from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Okay, you're right there from the stomping grounds there in Saskatchewan, the Harts being from Calgary. Man, I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. When you start looking at your favorites, that's a very subjective conversation. It's just like listening to music. Yeah, Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, they are 2 of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. Yes, Bret Hart is equally as talented. They're in the same ballpark. They're playing the same game. They were awesome. All of them were. I always say Ric Flair was the greatest world champion in the history of the business because he had the thing on so many different occasions for a reason. He could get a damn good match out of anybody. And he was that guy that brought that extra entertainment value to the business by doing that forward flop or, the stuff over the turnbuckle. He had that extra X factor. Everybody knows what I think about Shawn Michaels as far as abilities or capabilities once the bell rings. There's no one that's been able to do the things that he can do and make them look as easy as he can make them look, or as graceful or as crazy or however way he wants to spin it, he can. I agree with you 110% when it comes to believability and logic. Bret the Hitman Hart is the best of all time. He was that reality guy. When him and I were feuding, I mean, that's what made that feud so great because, man, he's just so real. He was instrumental in my career, and I'm not biased at all. I stand by my statement that Ric Flair is the greatest pro wrestler of all time, but I also stand by Shawn Michaels being the greatest in-ring performer, and I will stand by Bret Hart and agree with you. He is the most, or one of the most believable in the history of the business of all time. And so I'm a fan of all guys, but that's what I think about that. And you're right in holding him to such high acclaim because he is that good. Hey, Steve, my name is Hassan, and I've been a listener of your podcast since day one. I just want to know if you're going to do 2 episodes a week in the future or nothing is on the table right now. Thank you for all the great years. Man, I'm just doing 1 a week for right now. I think they're still playing the classics, but it's been a lot better for me to be able to do 1 a week as I have a bunch of other stuff going on and things that I'm working on that we're about to, talk about here in the upcoming months. So 1 a week really works for my schedule to be straight up with you and tell you like it is. And I'm looking forward to getting some podcasts when I go down there to Florida for Monday Night Raw and talk to some of the guys and gals down there. Thank you for the question. Hey, Steve, how is your relationship at the moment with WWE? Thanks, David Law. David, my relationship with WWE has always been outstanding. There were periods in my career where I had my disagreements with Vince, or the one time I refused to do the favors for Brock in Atlanta. But as people always think, as I've been gone, as long as I have been, that I'm on the outs with them. No, man, everything's straight up. Those guys are moving forward and doing their thing with the young talent, and I'm doing my thing over here. And every now and then, just like this coming Monday Night Raw, we get a chance to do something together. But man, my relationship is always good with those guys, and I'm a huge fan of the business, and I still love the business. But yeah, man, everything's good there. Hey, Steve, your entrance at WrestleMania 13 with the sheet of glass breaking at the ramp was so iconic. My question is, why wasn't that glass-breaking entrance used more often? I only remember it a handful of times. Cheers, that's from Jeff. Well, Jeff, we only used it on a few occasions because it was that iconic. So to do it at every different pay-per-view on multiple occasions, maybe it could have been cool to have a different, pitcher of glass up there and just break through it all the time. But, I think you remember the ones you do for the reasons you do. There weren't too many of them. If you do remember, there was one which broke about halfway vertically, and I'll never forget that because it was supposed to shatter, and it didn't. And I kind of remember bumping it. I believe it was with my left arm. And that glass, it's like candy glass, but it gaffed me. It actually cut my arm open just a little bit because I was trying to break it with my elbow to make it look cool and just trying to make the most of a botch. Anyway, so I didn't do that anymore. Thanks, Jeff. Steve, what is your opinion on Dave Meltzer? It seems the more reputable people in the industry talk highly of him, while others that are more known to be workers have issues. KC. Man, Dave Meltzer's been watching the damn wrestling business for probably over 40 years, and I don't know how old Dave is. I remember when I first started seeing the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was a kayfabe sheets way back in the day, and it was almost like taboo to get caught with one. And, of course, then everybody started reading them because if you didn't read them, you weren't in the know. So if you want to know about the business, you read the kayfabe sheets. And Meltzer affected a lot of guys pushing the business, He'd be like that guy that's like a scout for an NFL team that can really spot young talent or see potential in somebody. And the guy obviously understands the business side of the business, the work side of the business. I think he understands the whole picture. The guy has a very clear understanding and a very strong opinion of pretty much every wrestling style in the world, and he also covers MMA as well. So dude is a wealth of information. I think very highly of him, and I agree with his, when he does his star ratings on matches, he's pretty damn accurate in his assessment of everything about the business. So dude's high up on the list, if you ask me. If you want to ask somebody about the wrestling industry, Dave can give you a whole bunch of answers because he's that damn knowledgeable. And it's not just he's knowledgeable. Dude loves the business, so yeah, that's what I think about him. Dear Mr. Steve Austin, thank you for hearing us out. My question is on career passion advice. Do you have any advice for someone who's thinking of pursuing a passion or career wrestling, making music, breakdancing, singing at an old age where most people in the industry have already started at half the age. Thank you, Naresh from Malaysia. Man, Naresh, I can only think that my good buddy Diamond Dallas Page started in the damn business when he was about 35 years of age, and no one would have ever thought that he would have ever amounted to a hill of beans as a guy working inside the ring. And the guy turned into what? A 3-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and, you know, a guy that's influenced so many damn lives with DDP yoga. So the odds may be against you, but if you believe in yourself, you got to believe in yourself and go for it. And that's what I would tell you to do. I remember when I used to live with Diamond Dallas Page when I first got here, and I've told this story many times, seen him down there working on his yoga program. Dude, this was 15 years ago. And I thought, dude, are you crazy? Ain't no money in this yoga shit. Yeah, there is. There's money and there's changing lives in it. And Dallas is in there to change lives. And as a byproduct, he's also making money. But that dude got his platform or his base from his fame and his passion of the body of work that he put in the business of professional wrestling. He started late, so don't let your age be a detractor for you.
Well, it's never too late to do anything because time still goes on.
See, and that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things I was going to ask you about. I recently acquired a 66 Mustang and a 55 Buick Special. Both of them are in outstanding shape. I don't know how to work on anything. I got a 2017 Corvette. It doesn't need nothing. 03 Z71. My 88 Dodge Ram Charger. I'm not going to sit here and list every car I got. My point is, I was thinking about trying to engage in, taking a mechanic class or going to a mechanical school. But am I sitting there spinning my wheels at 54 trying to learn how to work on shit? Or would I be better off being productive and trying to make money somewhere else and having someone do my shit and pay them? Point is, I'm passionate about motors and vehicles, and I would like to learn how to work on stuff. I either don't have the time or I don't make the time to have time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or is it too late for me to start?
It's not too late because you have to live your life in the present.
So, well, here's the thing. If I'm out there in the shop tinkering on a damn body, sanding something down, or working on a motor, are you going to be ringing my phone off the hook telling me to come on inside?
Probably so.
So there you go. So that's why I'm going to start working on miniature cars so I can bring them in my living room.
Matchbox.
And while my wife watches Impractical Jokers and is over laughing her fool head off, I'm working on my miniature car.
I'm so glad you turned me onto that show.
Oh, my God. Hey, man, I know Sal Volcano doesn't listen to this show because he's busy doing other things, but this season has probably been the most outrageous season of all. And what they got, I think they're 8 or 9 seasons in, and this is like one of the number one shows in the world.
And I have never watched it, and I actually watched it, and I was in hysterics.
My wife sits there, and I get here as soon as I come in from the shop, and she's over there laughing her ass off, and we love to laugh. So when she's watching Impractical Joke, now that's kind of like our appointment time show. Our other appointment shows are we watch Yellowstone.
Yeah.
We watch a couple things on Netflix. But now we got back to a comedy-based thing.
I love comedy.
Or humor-based.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like old episodes of Seinfeld.
That, and I've been watching The Office, too, and that's another hysterical
she's cackling up over that. I watch all that shit. But Impractical Jokers, man, those guys, they took it to a whole different level, so congrats to all the guys. And you'll enjoy my episode of Straight Up Steve Austin with Sal, man. We had a really, really fun time together. That guy, he's so likable.
He's very likable.
He's real likable. He's just a good dude. You'll enjoy the episode. But anyway, that show this season has taken it to a whole nother level. Hey, Steve, you're the man. Met you in Vegas years ago at an autograph signing, and you couldn't have been cooler. Man, I'm glad I wasn't an asshole that day. Now that you're spending a lot of time at the Broken Skull Ranch 2.0, what kind of hunting are you getting into out there on the ranch? Or mostly just riding the trails in the Kawasaki? Also, have you ever done any hunting in South Carolina? Thanks for the time, Lone Star Law. Jonathan. Hey, what's that show we watch?
That's the one that we like. I like Lone Star Law.
Yeah, we were just watching it last night. Man, I ain't never hunted in South Carolina. Never had an opportunity to, and I wouldn't fly all the way across the country to the eastern seaboard to hunt. I'm sure it's pretty cool, But, man, the hunting out there in Nevada is unbelievable. My brother-in-law guides, been on a couple mule deer hunts, totally new to me. Been on a couple antelope hunts, totally new to me. My brother told me a couple years ago, he goes, man, if you ever get an antelope hunt, you got to go. It's a whole different kind of hunting. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, man, I don't get it. Well, after you go for your first time, you will understand. So that's what we're doing out there. I'm hunting when it's in season. And you have to
draw a tag.
I got to draw a tag, but I've been hunting on landowner tags since I got out there. But more than anything, because there's more days that are not hunting seasons than days that are. Man, I'm riding my Kawasaki stuff, my Terex, and I just get a lift kit for my mule, which I need out there. But my four-wheeler, I ride my brute force out there. I spend a lot of time on the trails. I try to ride every single day. And I told my wife the other day, because normally I'm coming back right about 8:15, 8:30 at night. And then we eat dinner. And hell, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Or start thinking about going to bed and it's dark. But from now on, when we go down there, I'm going to start my ride at about 7 a.m., get my ride on. That way I can ride for 4 hours, be back by lunch.
And you see animals on your ride.
Oh, I see animals all the time. I'm riding a lot of jackrabbits and stuff like that. But riding, I enjoy hunting. But if you had to ask me, or you had to say, Steve, you can only pick between two things. You can either hunt or you can ride your buggies. I'm going to pick riding my buggies because I can always go shoot targets and stuff like that because I love messing with guns and shooting firearms. So I would pick riding my buggies over hunting. And I love hunting 100%. But if you had to tell me to choose between the two, riding my buggies. Hey, Steve Dillon from Alabama here watching the Raw from January 99 where Mick Foley won the strap for the first time with a little help from you. That pop you got is by far the biggest and loudest I've ever seen or heard. Do you remember ever getting a bigger one? Thanks. Love the show, Dylan. Man, that was one of the biggest pops of all time. And I remember a bunch of them. And I guess that would be up there amongst the best. But I don't sit there and live and die by them or brag about them or, oh, man, check this out. But, man, that was a great day at the office. And I've talked about this in the podcast before, so I'll let it go. But you got to understand, they built that moment, and Mick and Rock were out there, and Billy Gunn, all those guys. The table was set for that. And, yeah, I was over, and that crowd was badass. But that moment was really set for me to get that pop, and that's how it happened like that. But I've gotten a few like that, and hey, man, hopefully I'll get one like that on the 22nd when I go down there to Tampa, Florida. I'm looking forward to going down there and being in front of a crowd again and going down there and being by the guys and gals and talking to everybody and shooting the breeze. It's always cool to talk with the newer cats in the business to see where they're coming from and where their head's at, see what kind of questions they ask you. And in the questions I ask you, you kind of see, okay, here's where this cat's at, and kind of get a feel for them. So I'm looking forward to going down there and, being in the environment again. Steve, do you do Comic-Cons or any type of personal appearances? If you do, will you ever be near the Youngstown, Ohio area in the future? If no, why don't you do them? Steve, man, I'm going to go down to the Silicon Valley. Is that what it is?
Yep.
I'm going down to the Silicon Valley Comic-Con on August 17th. On August 17th. So that's nowhere near Youngstown, Ohio. Dude, the reason I don't go to those things very often is most time I just would rather be not traveling. And I enjoy meeting people. And this one is on the West Coast. And this is a very quick flight to get there and to get back. And I can do it all in one day. So this is convenient to do. But I just don't do them just because, man, I kind of want to keep them few and far between because that way people will keep coming out. That's kind of the way I feel about it. Hey, Steve, I know you talked about things to change up the podcast, and the Mark Henry, JR, and Tony Khan interviews are awesome, but I really love the bullshit sessions with you and Kristin and hope they continue to be an ingredient of the podcast. Well, they are. Good luck with the show on the USA Network. My question is, you have the Broken Skull Ranch 2.0. Any chance you can talk USA Network into a Broken Skull Challenge 2.0? I miss the hell out of that show. Thanks, Bob.
I miss that show, too.
Man, and someone else asked me, and see if I can get this question here before I get into the CPAP question. The whole thing with that show, my thing about that show is after 5 seasons, that show was still bringing good numbers. on the +3 numbers and supporting itself without any advertisement, without no money being spent. I was doing advertising on my podcast. Why they pulled the plug on that show, I have no idea. Sometimes things run their course. It's time to move on. But many shows are on for 10, 15, 20 seasons or more. There was no reason to pull the plug on that show. That supported itself. It paid well. It delivered. And you know what the thing about it is, Kristin? That show, out of all the places I've been, out of the many people that watch that show, and I had a bunch down there when I went to visit Dale Earnhardt Jr., a lot of people down there in North Carolina watch that show. But Nevada has been the state that I've met the most people that watch. Everybody in Nevada watch that damn show. And man, when's your show coming back? There are people that don't even know I wrestle watch that show. And they'll see me at the sporting goods store or whatever and say, man, what happened to your show? Well, it got canceled. And I don't know who canceled it or why, but that wasn't a very wise decision. And that's the bottom line. And as far as bringing it back on USA Network, that's a whole different subject for a whole nother day. I'm just hoping that Straight Up Steve Austin does well, and we can continue doing that for 5 or 10 seasons. So as Vince McMahon says, the audience is your critic. The audience for that show was there. It delivered the numbers. It should have never been canceled. This future endeavor, which is about to be a current and present endeavor on the season premiere of August 12th, will stand on its own. And as 7 episodes run by, if the numbers are doing good enough, we will continue. And I hope that is the case. Steve, what city or state feels like a second home to you outside of Texas? I'm from Florida, and every SOB I know loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sitting back waiting. Brad Steele, BSR. His name is Brad Steele. He didn't give his last initial. It's R. Man, what city or state feels like a second home to you outside of Texas? Man, I tell you what, I've always, down there in Florida, I've always been comfortable down there in Florida. We used to wrestle over in Jacksonville at the Coliseum. This is way back. I think they tore that building down. But for some reason, I like Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm going to be down in Tampa, Florida. But
you like Atlanta, New Orleans?
Well, I dug Atlanta, man. I was out there, 30 miles west of Atlanta, out there in a little town called Villarica, Douglasville area. I really liked Atlanta. Well,
Lake Hartwell?
Lake Hartwell. That would be the place I'd have to go number one. That little place out there on that lake, that lake is 53,000 acres, I believe. And I ride my jet ski out there after we got finished filming Redneck Island. And we almost bought a place out there. That's how serious we were about it. And Kristin damn near lost her life out there when she fell in that pier when we were walking there in the dark. But Lake Hartwell, Georgia, I think there's something about that area.
After I fell, I didn't want to move there.
Yeah. Man, I damn near had to talk into it. And all of a sudden she stepped in that water and fell in that little corner. I've told that story before, but man, that place, Lake Hartwell, Georgia.
It's very nice. Yeah.
Very nice, peaceful. People are very friendly. And what's my buddy's name there at barbecues down there? Cedric? Yeah, Cedric's Barbecue.
So, yeah.
He's the one that catered our show. Some of the best barbecue you'll ever eat. And he's still got the barbecue sauce down there. Steve, who helps with your restorations on your classic rebuilds? Ever thought about working on a vehicle with Richard Rollins and Gas Monkey Garage, Swig of Beer, John Dean, St. Mary's, West Virginia? No, man, I think that dude's based out of Dallas, Fort Worth. Man, he got a pretty good show. No one's really helping me with anything right now. I just kind of, like I said, when I get this Mustang painted, I'll start looking around and trying to find a quality body shop is first and foremost. I had a guy that listens to the show out there in South Carolina, of all places, a guy that made a United States of America metal flag for me, Aaron, who works over there at one of the Hendricks motor shops or body shops down there. He gave me some 411 on paint jobs of what to look for, some of the terminology, how to spot a bad shop. So it's all about finding quality work. So that's what I'm in the hunt for right now, is finding someone to do the work. Because it's funny, when you start talking paint jobs, there's many things that go into that. And the dude told me, he goes, for every 10 shops you'll find, there's one that's going to be the best, is going to give you your money's worth, not keep your car too long, and not jack you for a bunch of money. And there's a lot of work that goes into this. So you get what you pay for in a paint job, and I understand that. But I'm not going to put a show quality paint job on this Mustang. But do I want it to look like, with all due respect to Earl Scheib, a paint job? No. I don't want a $99 paint job on that car. Hey, Steve, this is Steven in Odessa, Texas.
You get a lot of Steve and Stevens today.
I do. Glad to have
like
you back in the podcast world. Hey, man, I'm thankful for the Steves. My question is about old blue and old red. I never grew up around classic cars because of my age, so I would like to know what are some of the pros and cons to owning classic cars as far as the keep up and maintenance, and will we see you and Kristin having a street race with the classics? Steven, man, I kind of already covered that. The technology is not as new. Brakes aren't as good.
They're pretty to look at.
They're cool to look at. The best, I agree with that. The best thing, well, driving them, you get that feeling, but you don't want to be.
And the smell of the car.
Smell.
Yeah.
But just the feeling that you're driving something that you know and love and you're passionate about. But as far as the practicality of them, I was in my 66 the other day talking to a dude in a shop in Gardnerville. I follow him on Instagram with CPT Customs or something like that. And I was driving my 66 C10. And, man, you're in a bucket seat. That steering wheel is right there on your chest. You can't lean back. It's a different ball game. Like my 74 Camaro Z28, that thing is cool, but, you know, no AC. It's loud. It's rough. It's something you want to take out for a joyride. It's not.
It's
to be
a cruiser.
Well, you know that 55 Buick and like that 66 C10. Well, even like your car, those are cruising cars. There's people that resto mod those things and dump $100,000 in them, and you can drive them. You know,
we just like to look at the beauty of the classic vehicle.
Man, that's what I was going to do next time we go down to the ranch. I got to clean my shop out. I got to blow it out, and I'm going to just park the cars on the perimeter on the inside, and it's going to be like a museum. Because I ain't selling nothing.
Because you'll go down there and you'll stand around for hours looking at those vehicles.
Yeah, I get as much joy out of looking at them as I do driving them. And that's the truth. So, but yeah, man, you just maintaining those things. You don't have modern technology. You know, I'm into those old 66, early 70 Broncos. But the thing I love about my 95 Bronco, it's my daily driver down there in Nevada. And I got a brand new Duramax diesel pickup truck. But that thing's easy to get around in. It has air conditioning. It has analog brakes. So I love that thing. That's the most modern technology out of all the old stuff that I got. So the basic thing is you're just giving up a lot of drive quality. But as far as smile quality, that's what you do get a lot of, and satisfaction. Hey, Steve, did Kevin Owens get your blessing to use a stunner as his finisher? Is that customary in the wrestling business? Swig of beer. Another John Dean question. Yeah, man, I told Kevin, man, if you want to use that stunner, go with it. You know, I didn't care for it when everybody was using it as a false finish. You know, that move was probably the most iconic move in the history of finishes, other than, you know, like a Jake Snake DDT or something like that. To use it as a false finish was absolutely ludicrous and did not make sense. So if he's going to use it as a finish, you know, more power to him. I like him using it, and I'm glad someone can use it because it's a great move and it should be used. But should it be used as a setup move to continue a match? Shit, no. Hey, Steve, I want to get your take on the upcoming NFL season. Which team do you think will surprise some people, and who are you excited to watch this year? Glad the podcast is back, and can I get a hell yeah, Bradley? Oh, hell yeah, you can get a hell yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. First and foremost, I got a chance to spend time with Baker Mayfield on an episode of Straight Up Steve Austin this year. I watched that kid's entire career. He's from Austin, Texas, played at Lake Travis High School, took his team to the state championships and won, went to Texas Tech, ended up at Oklahoma, got drafted first, won the Heisman, played not even a complete year and broke Peyton Manning's and Russell Wilson's touchdown record for their rookie year. The kid is accurate with the football. He's got a tremendous head on his shoulders. He carries himself with such class and composure. A lot of people think he's cocky. Yeah, you better be cocky if you're running quarterback and you're a quarterback in the NFL. But more than that, the kid is confident. And I think he's a class act, and he's a real smart kid. And he's worked his ass off to get where he's at. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Cleveland Browns do as a team this year, and got a chance to hang out and talk with Coach Freddie Kitchens, who was the interim coach from last year. And that city is really on fire for them to have a winning season. The pieces are in place. I hope they gel as a team, this year. And that's who I'm looking for. And I really want to see big things happen for all of those people involved with the Cleveland Browns program. Everybody there treated me like gold, and I'm a huge fan. Steve, if you were in a competitive eating event, what food would it be that you were eating? Okay.
Can I answer that?
Yep, you sure can.
Mexican food.
Mexican food, and it's going to be beef enchiladas. When I used to hunt down there in Pearsall, Texas, and Pearsall, Texas is in, what county is that? It's not LaSalle County. Anyway, Pearsall is about 60 miles south of San Antonio, considered real good deer country. About 80 miles, 90 miles from Broken Skull Ranch. When we used to go to eat Mexican food every single day, we wouldn't have a contest, but
You could eat platefuls.
I was the champion of eating beef enchiladas. I'll just leave it at that. And then every now and then we'd get drunk and have jalapeno eating contests, but that was a whole nother story, and that was stupid. But yeah, man, if I was going to eat in a food contest, it would be ground beef enchiladas. My favorite food in the world.
I think mine would be salad.
Man.
No, pizza.
Hey, Stone Cold, is Pantera the most kick-ass metal band ever or what? Kristin, check us out. Don Jameson, That Metal Show. P.S. Enjoyed doing your podcast, brother. Hey, Don, whenever you want to come back on, bring your ass back over here. You remember that dude from The Metal Show?
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about you love Pantera.
I do. I've seen him plenty of times.
Yeah, you're a big-ass metalhead. So, man, I just wish it would have been good if they were still together. And, of course, it would have been good. It would have been outstanding if that idiot had never shot Dimebag Darrell.
I know.
Heartbreaking. And then, Vinny just passed away.
Right.
Vinnie Paul. So, anyway, but, yeah, man, Pantera rocks, badass band. Heavy duty. Those dudes were hardcore, and they set the tone.
They really did.
They were an original, and everybody knew that they were the shit. Bottom line. Good to hear from you, Don. Tell your booker to call me, and let's do the show again. Hey, here's one. Hey, Steve Gary from Glasgow, Scotland. I had to make sure I mispronounced both towns.
Scotland.
The town and the country. I love Glasgow. I've been there a couple times and enjoyed it. 2 questions from me. Well, one question and maybe just another message of gratitude for all the years in the ring and the podcast, TV shows. The podcast see me through lots of long drives at work, so keep kicking ass. Anyway, my question is, will the new TV show be shown here in the UK? I absolutely love Broken Skull Challenge on Dave. Gary. Well, to answer your question, I reached out to someone today to see. We don't know if it's been distributed there, but we're going to find out what platform someone in the UK could see it. So I texted someone with knowledge of this, and they didn't know the answer. So I'm giving that knowledge to you. We don't know, but as soon as we do find out, or I find out, I will let you know via the podcast.
Maybe you can stream it on the USA Network, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember a lot of times when I was talking about the show. This show is worldwide. I mean, I've got emails here from Singapore, Malaysia, Scotland, all the states here, and so people all over the world listen to this damn show. But not everybody in the world. When I'm talking about something, not everybody can see it.
Right.
When I first started talking about Broken Skull Challenge, people were like, "Man, that's great you talk about, but we don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
And then finally, it hit over in UK. And it turned out to be an extremely popular show over there. So again, whoever pulled a plug on it, I'll stop there. Here's the thing. As I'm looking at my wife, we got into a thing a couple of months ago. We wanted to find out, because I had a couple of buddies do those DNA tests. So my wife says, "Hey, man, let's do the 23andMe thing and find out more about our ancestry." And I had a buddy that do it, and he found out a little bit about himself. So I said, "All right, man, I'm in." So anyway, here's my results. My test kit came back, and you spit in this test tube, and you put this fluid in there or whatever.
But your first one didn't even take.
I know. My first one didn't work, and I redid it, and finally I got my results back. And my results were this, because I remember I would always ask my mom. I said, "Mom, like, what's our makeup?" And she would go, "You're a quarter English, a quarter Swedish, a quarter Irish, and a quarter German." So I just took that for the Bible. That's what I thought, because my mom, that's what she said. That's what I was. Turns out, 23andMe says I'm 63% English, I'm 23% Irish, and then the rest was just like random percentages. So 63 and 23 is 86. So it's pretty cool that my show is such a success in England.
You have a lot of relatives you didn't know
I got a lot of
about.
relatives over in England. And, Ireland's right there next door, or right there by it. So that's my stomping grounds over there. So I'd like for some of my shows to be shown over there. Were you happy with your 23andMe? You didn't find as much out about yourself as you would have liked to.
I already knew everything.
Yeah, but I thought it was like, it's going to give me like names and numbers of people.
It did give you names, but we just didn't want to, you're not going to call people you're 1% related to.
Yeah, I guess so. Steve, I'm an avid golf fan, and anytime you share one of your golf stories, I always get a good laugh. How's your golf game these days? Do you have a favorite memory on the golf course that you can share, and what's the best score you ever shot? Keep up the great work, Bam Golf. I don't think I have a favorite memory on the golf course because I suck so bad.
And I don't think you've ever had a score because we
never kept score because we were so damn shitty. And then one of my favorite memories is me and Kristin were golfing a couple of months ago, and we were terrible. And she tells me, well, let's go to the bar and get a margarita first before we get on the course. I said, no. I said, that's going to ruin my game. And, of course, man, we sucked. I was terrible. I should have listened to her advice. But anyway, while we were out there, I was out there, and there was a couple of times I missed the ball. I shanked a bunch of them. I had a real wicked slice going on. The people in the neighborhood were real mad at me because I was hitting the houses. But the one time when Kristin was teeing off, it was about 15th hole. We had lost our attention span. We were tired, and she took a whack at this golf ball with her driver and spun around like a helicopter about 2 times. And she spun around like a helicopter. I thought she was actually going to take off the ground. And I still got that video on my phone. And if I put it on my Instagram account, it would immediately go viral. So that's probably my favorite moment recently of the golf course. The best score I ever shot was a 55 on a 9-hole course. One I used to play with this guy I used to hang around with who was a complete outlaw back in the day. But when I hit that 55, I was thinking, man, I need to turn pro now. So if I'd have played another 9 holes, that would give me 110, if that's any indication of how bad I am on a golf course. Last question from Adam. I've always wondered how you come up with the saying, I'll drop you on that stack of dimes you call a neck, and I'll stomp a mud hole in your ass and walk it dry. Somebody you knew grow up saying those things, or what? Man, everybody in the business used to always call a neck a stack of dimes, because it looks like a stack of dimes or a stack of quarters. It's a stack of dimes, what we call it. So I don't know who made up that saying. And then, man, I don't know if anyone made that up before me, but it was just something I always said. I'll drop you. It's something you would do to threaten someone in the business as a rib. And then, or as a threat in a promo, a legit threat. As far as stomping a mud hole in your ass and walk it dry, man, I've been hearing that in Texas since day one. So that's how I pick that up. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up and close down the show. Thanks for sending the questions. This has been a rough day for me. Thank you for bearing with me, and that's the bottom line. Thank you, Kristin. And hey, man, while you're online, you should get your car insurance figured out. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset. Thank you for sending in your questions. Thank you to my wife for helping me out. If you don't know, you should know. I will be at Monday Night Raw, July 22nd, Tampa, Florida. Make sure you tune in or set your DVR on the USA Network. Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back for one night and one night only, and that's the bottom line. Also, set your DVR for Straight Up Steve Austin, August 12th, 2019. Just keep it on your calendar, people. I'm going to keep reminding you until that day gets here. Don't forget to rate and review the Steve Austin Show on Apple Podcasts, and tell your friends to check us out. If you want to reach me here on the podcast, send an email to question@steveaustinshow.com. I got a beer, folks. Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. This is the best IPA in the United States of America, and I firmly believe that. In SoCal, it's available at Whole Foods and Total Wines. And if you ain't in Cali, you might be SOL. Everybody needs a pocket knife. I happen to have 2 of them. In a collaboration with Cold Steel Knives, the Broken Skull knife and the Working Man's knife are both badass. Check out my Amazon store. Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin. Also, if you see me out in the woods, you'll see me proudly riding a Kawasaki, and that's the bottom line. I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially Geico and BetOnline.ag. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. And if you need more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, I am on social media, Twitter and Instagram, @SteveAustinBSR. Until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.